Welcome to Activation Nation podcast, where we talk all things business, mindset, momentum, and what it really takes to build a life that you love. I'm your host, Mindy Trimble, and I am excited to be here today and help you to activate your health goals in your future, along with the amazing Lacy Nielson. Lacy, welcome, and thank you so much for being here with us.
Hi, everybody. So happy to be here.
Lacy, tell us just a little bit about yourself before we get started. How long have you been in LifeVantage?
For a little over a year.
Okay. What about how long have you been in this industry?
In this industry for about 10 years.
So just a little bit of experience. You've been around the block just a tiny bit with it.
Yeah, I sure have.
I love it.
I've been on both the consultant side and the corporate side. So that's like a kind of unique because a lot of people haven't been on both sides of it.
That is so true. And I think that that is actually something that really gives you such an edge, gives you such a huge perspective of being on both sides and having that knowledge of how it works behind the scenes and how challenging and what it takes to be out there in the field. Because we always talk about, we really can't, it wouldn't work if we didn't have one without the other, right? Like I would not have a job without you guys, and you wouldn't be able to do what you do without us. And it's such a partnership and such, it's teamwork, right?
Exactly.
Like we have to work together. And I love that about this business. So knowing that, I'm really excited about this topic. And this is such a big topic, and it's something that is so prevalent in this industry. And we're really not able to have success without knowing and getting better at enrolling. And that's what we're talking about today, is enrolling. It's something that I think, and you can correct me, Lacy, if I'm wrong, and tell me your thoughts on this, but I think it can be one of probably the biggest roadblocks in this industry for those out there building and trying to be successful and work towards building a successful business, is enrolling. Why do you think that is? I have my thoughts, but I would love to hear why do you think that is?
I just think that it's people's mindset. They're afraid. They're afraid to ask someone to join them to be part of what they're doing. They're afraid. And so if you can just enroll that first person, and you guys make it be a person, even if it's your mom. My mom has always been the first person I enrolled. And I always say, I'm like, I could say, Mom, there's this drink that tastes like poop, but it'll help you, and I'm like, I know she can do it. So find that one person who believes in you and trusts you and just wants you to succeed in life. And once you do that one person, whether it's your mom or your husband or whoever, your best friend, your aunt, once you get past that one person, then you just like go. So find that one.
It takes that fear away, right? Like a little bit of.
Totally. And you guys, each time I've started LifeVantage is actually my fourth network marketing company. And each time I've started a new company, I have had someone reach out to me and tell me what an awful idea it was. And it's just so crazy because I always say, unless you want to change lives with that person, don't listen to them. Yeah. And each time someone reached out to me, Lacy, take that post down. Lacy, don't do this. Really, you're going to do another network marketing company? I sure am. And I will be involved in one for the rest of my life. Like I say that all the time. But you guys, before I joined 10 years ago at network marketing, I was approached hundreds of times, because I was the fitness girl, and I was put probably in front of 1,000 people per week by all the fitness classes I taught. And so I was approached constantly, and I would always say no until the right person approached me. And I listened to her because I looked up to her. I was inspired by her. She had the best heart. She was kind, loving, caring. And I listened because of who she was. And that was 10 years ago. And I have been hooked. Once you are in this industry and you see what it's like, oh my heavens, my previous company, they closed the doors to my business. And my husband said, well, do you want to go back to accounting? Heck no. Oh my heavens, never in a million years. And I love that industry because of the community. The women you surround yourself with, the women and men you surround yourself with, are unbelievable. I always say,
Was
yes, I have the greatest family and friends, but my LifeVantage family and friends, oh, they are just so amazing, and I can't imagine doing life without them. So,
Mhm.
I
So
love
much
this.
positivity, right? That's how I feel anytime I am around the field, anytime I'm in an event, anything like that. Like, it's just the energy is always so high. There's so much positivity just radiated from everyone, and the friendliness. Like, people are so friendly and kind in this industry.
It's
It's
so true.
it's really fun to be a part of. I agree. I think that it's one of the most amazing pieces of, this industry is the people. So, okay, ta thinking about I loved what you said about getting over that fear, and if that is, like you said, your mom, you know that she will try anything from you, right? And that's just how moms are. But find somebody that is a good maybe it's a good friend, maybe it's a neighbor that trusts you and that you trust, maybe whatever it might be to just get over that fear. Ask them, "Can I try something out on you? Can I give you my elevator pitch that I have been working on, and can you tell me what you think?" Find somebody that you trust and that you feel comfortable with doing that to kinda get past that fear, because it is a big roadblock for so many people. It's like public speaking. It's scary.
Yes, true.
It is scary.
I always tell people, I'm like, I say, "Why are you afraid?" I say, "This company, these products, they've changed your health, they've changed your financial situation, they have changed your life, and I truly believe that we have a gift that we need to share with the world." And so
Mhm.
I'm not afraid to ask anyone who knows me. I'm not afraid to ask anyone because I honestly, I don't even know want to know where my life would be if Courtney hadn't asked me. My health would be in the toilet, our financial situation would be in the toilet, my life would be in the toilet, and so I am just so thankful that, and so that's how I told Courtney, I'm like, "Courtney, if these products work, I will literally tell the world."
Yeah. Yeah.
And so we've all had some kind of transformation, whether it's, health-wise, business, both. And
Yeah.
so literally, I'm not afraid to ask. If you know me, you know I love LifeVantage. It's changed my health, my life. Like I always say, my husband got his wife back. My kids got their mom back. I got my life back. And so I want to share with the world.
Yeah, I love it. So, okay. So when you but not everyone is as outgoing as you.
Yes, true. And
So
I had to learn and grow to be like, in the beginning, I was very scared.
I was gonna say, have you always been,
No,
um, this confident or this outgoing or felt this confident about talking about
no,
to other people about this?
not at all.
So, if you're kind of go back in that mindset of, like, the old Lacey of maybe when you were a little quieter, maybe a little bit shy, a little less confident about, talking to other people, my guess is there's a lot of people that feel that exact same way. What would you tell them, um, to be able to step outside of that? Like, what do you feel like was there a moment or was there something that helped you or maybe it was slow, but what do you feel like was the transformation for you to move from that space to your more confident self that you are today?
Okay, you guys. So in the very beginning, I thought personal development was foo foo and something that I didn't need. I promise you, your mind is the biggest asset or the biggest liability. And every single person, whether you are day one or day, like 1,000, whether you're 1 day in or 10 years in, you need personal development every single day. And
Mhm.
in the very beginning, I was very, very afraid of what people thought of me. So I didn't want to reach out to them because I was afraid of what they were gonna say about me behind my back or just things that were gonna be said about me, and I didn't want anyone to not like Lacey, you know? And personal development, that is literally been the answer to everything, but I started, like, getting over other people's opinion of you is none of your business.
Mm.
Other people's opinion of you doesn't pay your bills. The people who talk about you behind your back are behind you for a reason, and so just getting that mindset, I don't care what people say about me behind my back, because we also have this community of women. I just had one of my consultants reach out to me just last week, and she goes, Lacy, there is this text thread of, what I thought were my friends, and they are just making so much fun of me and yada, yada, yada. And I asked her, I said, are they happy with their life? No, they're miserable. And I said, okay, would you rather change lives with them? No, never. And so, you guys, I always say new level, new devils. As you continue to grow and level up, you're going to find new devils that come into your life. That means you're on the right path.
Mm.
It really
Yeah.
does. It means you are doing something right. And so I would say, Mindy, make personal development literally your biggest priority, because you're going to need that mindset
Mhm.
every single day for as long as you're in this industry. Every single day I walk outside, and you should see me. I'm dressed in pink. I even have pink gloves, and I walk outside and I listen to my vision statement. On my hard days, on my amazing days, on my down days, on my incredible days, every single day, because I know where I'm headed, and just it gives me
Just have
the
me right here.
yes, it just helps to,
Yeah.
get through those hard days, because, with my businesses last year, I have had the highest of highs and the lowest of lows.
Yeah.
And this other consultant reached out to me. She goes, I know what you've gone through in your business this last year, Lacy. And she goes, and I'm sure behind the scenes, there have been lots of tears shed. But she goes, I love how you've handled this. And
Mhm.
I know where I'm going. And LifeVantage, I have never felt like this about any other company I've been with. I know I will be presidential. I know it. I already have my celebration planned out. And there's been hurdles and roadblocks that have come in my way that I would have never thought.
Yeah.
But I'm looking, usually I used to look right in front of my hand. I could only see what was right in front of my face. And now I'm just looking at the big picture, where I just see so much differently now, but it's because of personal development. I have worked on my mindset so much, where the stuff that would have happened to me last year, if it would have happened 5 years ago, that would have just crumbled my world, and just I
Devastating.
wouldn't have wanted to get out of bed, and I would have cried so many tears. And now I'm like, okay, Lacey, you've got 24 hours to cry and then get back to work.
Absolutely. I love that. I work with runners, with athletes a lot, and that is something that we talk about a lot, because everyone has a bad race, right? There's
Yes.
always going to be those races that are just breakthroughs, that are amazing, that they've hit a PR, or whatever that is, and there are going to be bad ones too. And so we talk about that a ton during those, when you get finished and you had a bad race and things just did not go for whatever reason how you wanted them to, and you've got about 30 minutes to just feel like crap, cry it out, be upset, whatever it is. And then we're going to snap out of it, and we're going to figure out what went wrong and what we can take into the next race and do a little better on.
It's so true.
And
Go ahead.
yeah, like giving yourself that space. It's important to give
Yes.
yourself that space of going, this is frustrating, but then pulling out of that and taking away what you can do better the next time.
Mindy, on a pink little sticky note on my mirror, I have, hi, I'm Lacy Nielson. Only good things happen to me. Life is happening for me. And even when bad things happen to me, I have spun it to saying, that's happening for me. What can I learn? How can I grow? How can
Mm,
I do things differently? And also, too, you guys, I know that I'm going to help one of my consultants through this exact same thing. So,
right.
how am I going to want my future consultant to handle this exact same thing that happens to her?
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. Okay. So we talked a lot about, you kind of mentioned a lot of struggles this in last year and this last season. What have you done and kind of having to rebuild, having to really like relook at, what does my business look like and where do I want it to be at and where is it at today? What have been some things that you have done to, I guess, for lack of a better term, start over in a way? And I know you weren't completely starting over, but it probably felt like that, I would imagine, in a lot of ways. And so you had to really go back to square one and rebuild and really look at enrolling. What have you done to do that? Like, what is something that you have really focused back in on, to make enrolling a big priority again?
Okay, so you guys, my favorite saying, and I was taught this from one of my very first mentors, is successful people just do the basics better. And there was a big, huge explosion that happened in my business, an explosion for not very good. And that happened in August. And the next month, I literally blew up my business. And people, it was the month that I enrolled 17 consultants. And they said, Lacy, what were you doing? Oh my gosh, you rolled 17 brand new consultants. And I said, I literally just 10x'd or actually 100x'd everything that I always do, but I just did more of it. I
Mhm.
just did more of the basic things. I posted more. I did more stories. I reached out and invited more people to, take a look at what I was doing. I followed up more. I had more conversations. The joke of my family, my friends is I can literally be somewhere and within 5 minutes, I will have a friend. Guys, people just don't know how to talk. We are the most connected yet disconnected people. And people need human connection. They do. There is nothing like it. That's why events are so important. And so,
Yeah.
honestly, Mindy, with that rebuilding phase, I just 10x'd, maybe 100x'd everything
Amazing.
that I was doing. And I tell people all the time, I'm like, listen, you guys, in the very beginning, when they are just first starting out, I imagine you pumping a well. You are pumping a well and you're working and you're posting and you're doing your stories and you're inviting people and you're following up and there is no water coming out and you are just pumping it and pumping it, pumping it. Once that water starts coming, don't ever let it stop. You guys, there are times when you are going to full on sprint. Like right now, I'm in a sprint for Whistler. I am full on sprinting. Sometimes I'm just running. Sometimes I'm walking. Sometimes I'm crawling, but I never stop. So I tell people all the time, just do 1 to 3 things every single day. It might be 10 things if you're sprinting, but do something every single day that move your business forward.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
even a little thing, even as small as like you guys, I completely shut off my brain, shut off my cell phone on Sundays. That is like my one day where I like literally is 100% for my family and the Lord. And I literally have to shut off my phone because if my phone's on, my brain's on. The
It's true.
thing I can do for my business is taking my activators.
Hmm.
It drives me crazy when people say, I didn't order anything because I've got a package of this or a box of that or like use your activators. That is something you can do every single day to move your business forward. And so
Yes.
work on your business every single day somehow. Like when new consultants come in and they're brand new, they are so overwhelmed and they're freaking out because they usually work another job also. And they're so overwhelmed. And I say, just do 3 things every single day to move your business forward. Like, what, Lacey? And I'm like, take your activators, do your activation accelerators, and post on social media and maybe invite one person to hear what you have to say.
Have a conversation.
Have a
Yeah.
conversation. Have a conversation. And they think they have to like change their entire world and and I'm like, "No." And they're like, "That's it?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's it." I'm like, "And once you master that, then we'll add something else." And so it's just I always say, "How do you eat an elephant?" You eat it one bite at a time. Like, an elephant is huge. It's so big.
Right.
How in the world could you ever eat it? One bite at a time. So that's how you
Right.
have to look at your business. And so you guys, like, now when I bring new consultants in, I say, invite one person per day. And,
Mhm.
that seems like, and I'm like, just that one person.
Yeah.
Well, now I'm like, some days I'm like, I can invite 50 people, but I started at one. I had to get over inviting that one person to learn about what I was doing, for my health or for my financial situation. And now
Mhm.
it's like, but in the beginning, it was just those small, little, simple, basic things. And I just do more of them now.
Well, and I think too, something that we get hung up on is feeling like, oh, before I even talk to or have a conversation with or invite even one person, I have to I have to perfect my elevator pitch and I have to know exactly what to say and I have to be an expert on all the products, right? Like we get these narratives and we tell ourselves these things that get us hung up
Yeah.
and stop us from doing that basic thing like you're telling them is having a conversation.
You guys, people cannot relate to perfection. They can't. And I always say the 0% of you who are perfect, congratulations. No one can relate to you. Because I remember my previous company, you guys, my previous company was a health and fitness, and thought I had to be fitness Barbie, in order to post and do stories and that kind of stuff, and so I wanted to wait until I lost the 50 pounds and wait until I was perfect. No, people don't relate to that. When I
Mhm,
gained 50 pounds when I was pregnant, my postpartum journey, my business skyrocketed because they saw me 50 pounds heavier and they saw me go on this journey and be imperfect. And I took them
mhm.
through it. So, same with your business, you guys. And if you don't have the kind of successes yet, you know someone who does until you have them. So,
Mhm.
yes, done is better than perfect. You can have
Do
the
it imperfectly, right? Like,
do
do it imperfectly.
and practice makes progress. And so I always say my first post and my first conversations were horrendous. Like,
Don't you love looking back and going, "Oh gosh, I posted that? Well."
it's true. And I
Yeah,
just laugh at myself when I'm like, we all start, at day one. We all have that terrible icky, and I even look at some of my conversations where my conversations were terrible. But I got
you're
better
like, "Oh, I said that. Oh gosh."
because I kept doing that.
Yeah.
So,
But
yeah.
that's how we learn. And I think too, something that I've heard a lot is it gives people confidence to recognize, like, and see that you aren't perfect at it. And you don't know everything. You don't have every single answer to all the questions that they might ask. And it gives them confidence as they are building and working towards their journey and their success that, oh my gosh, you know what? Lacy didn't always know everything, and look how successful she has been. I can do that.
Yeah.
I can do that. I can say, "You know what? I don't know the answer, but I can find out."
Still to this day, I will say that. I'll say, if I don't know the answer, I can find it, because
Mhm.
a lot of times
I
people
know
are
where
afraid. They're afraid to have conversations because they're afraid that they're not gonna know the answer.
Mhm.
You guys, let me just tell you, the more you know, I swear the less successful you'll become. It's like that personal validation, like, when I came into LifeVantage, I literally broke every record within, like, the first month, and I had no idea what I was talking about, but I knew a person who had a tool or I had a video I could share, you know? I remember I joined LifeVantage, 2 days later, I hopped on a plane and flew to Kansas City, and so that event, I always say leaders are born at events, and I know that from being in this industry for 10 years, but Mindy, I came home on that plane ride and I wrote a list of 400 people. And people I'm like, "Just do a list of 100," or
I
like,
don't know if I know 400 people, Lacey.
no, probably 4,000, but I, like, knew that this company was holy smokes, and so I didn't know anything. But
Yeah.
Courtney said, she's like, "Lacy, I have never been more busy in my entire life, but that's because I sat in those seats and I heard from, the doctors, the scientists, the corporate staff. And I said, I can't explain the science to you. I can't explain how the comp plan works, but I can explain how I felt when I heard it the first
Mhm.
time. And I know that this is where I'm going."
Mhm. And they probably that people hear that and they go, "Okay, I can relate to that."
You guys, excitement is contagious. I
Mhm.
had no idea what I was doing. I just knew I was so excited about it. And excitement is contagious.
Mhm.
So
And
literally,
when and I'm guessing you probably started to have confidence in the product. You had confidence in the company. And so all of a sudden, that resonates with people. And when
totally,
you're speaking to them with confidence about those things, we can find the other things. There's answers for all the other stuff, right? That
it's
you
so
can
true.
figure out.
It's so true.
So as you're moving forward, so you're still in this kind of rebuild sprint, like you said. And I love that analogy, by the way, that sometimes you're sprinting, sometimes you're running, walking, crawling. All those things happen. And all those things happen for every leader. And I think that's so important for people to know is that you don't always have to be sprinting, or you're not always going to be sprinting. There's going to be different phases, and that's okay. And
Totally.
figuring out what that looks like. And so, as you're talking to people, maybe a new consultant or a new customer that has just come in, what is kind of a message that you share with them, or giving them some confidence in they can do this, or for a customer, hey, this is going to help you with whatever it is that you're looking for.
So you guys, okay, for example, with Whistler. So I have, I don't even know how many consultants I have, but I have a lot of consultants. But I went to every single one of them and I asked them, listen, do you want to sprint with me? It's okay if you don't, but
Mhm.
do you want to? And, I said, what do you want? Because I don't want to put my goals on anyone. I'm like, I just want to know what your goals are. And if your goal is to sprint and to earn, to earn Whistler and to do those things, I'm like, then let's run. So I have 11 women running with me right now. I have probably 60 or 70 consultants, but only 11 said, yes, I want to full on sprint with you. And so, you guys, I think just being okay with someone saying no, you know? Just like I'm okay with someone saying no, because I know where I'm going. I know that I will find the people who want to do it with me.
Mhm.
And it's okay if they don't, but somewhere along the line, like just you have to be okay with what people actually want. And two, when
Mhm.
people tell me what they want, um, if it's a full on sprint, I say your actions have to be aligned with your goals. If you have these big, huge, hairy, audacious goals, you have to be taking big, huge, hairy, audacious actions. So I say, what does that look like to you? And like I said, most of the time my consultants, they have another job. And to be honest, you guys, you can literally build a phenomenal business in 1 to 2 hours a day. We are too distracted with life. Life is so distracting. There is 5 million distractions coming in all the time. And so if you can just focus 1 to 2 hours per day, then I'm like, you can build an incredible business. We waste a lot more time than we think that we do. I even told Courtney a couple weeks ago, I said, Courtney, because I'm running for presidential, I am getting way more intentional with my time. And I see
Mm.
how much time I actually waste.
Yeah.
And it was very eye opening to me. And so, you guys, even with the customers, when customers, when they come on, um, a lot of times people want to change their life in like a week. And I say, that's not going to happen.
It
I
sounds
go,
wonderful. I love the idea, but
yes. I say just focus on those small, simple things and master.
Mhm.
The first thing I have all my customers do is literally I go start drinking half your body weight in ounces of water and taking your accelerators. And they're like, well, what about a meal plan? What about an exercise plan? What about what? And I say,
Going, no,
yes.
let's
I go, once
keep
you
it.
go after that, I go, then
Mhm.
we're gonna add. And it's just so funny because you have to start, you have to like it's I always say by small and simple things are great things brought to pass. Like it's small and simple things like they build on each other. When I first started taking the mind body, you guys, I actually had to write a little sticky note saying, take your pills first thing in the morning because I wasn't used to that. Because
Yeah.
I've already mastered drinking half my body weight in lots of water. I've already mastered exercising every single day. I've already mastered prioritizing protein and all that kind of stuff. But when it's something new, then it takes a while until it becomes
Mm.
habit.
Habit.
And
Yeah.
so it's so true. And so, you guys, one thing too, where I had a consultant reach out to me and she's like, Lacy, like, I have the time because now my kids are back in school, but I just don't have the motivation. And I was like,
Mm.
girlfriend,
That's hard. Yep.
motivation comes and goes like the wind. And I
Doesn't it?
said, so you cannot rely on motivation. I said, you have
Yes.
to rely on discipline. And so, you guys, whether you're building a business, one thing that has helped me because when you're an entrepreneur, you don't have anyone looking over your shoulder.
Mhm.
And so one thing that has helped me is I pretend like my boss is sitting behind me. And I would always say, okay, at the end of my workday, whatever that was, I would literally ask myself, Lacy, based off of your actions today, would you be fired if your boss were standing behind you?
Mm.
Because you guys, we don't have anyone who's looking over our shoulder, making sure we have deadlines that we're meeting, yada, yada, yada. So when I worked at the corporate office, helping thousands of women build successful businesses, when they come home and work their, life management business full time, I was always freaked out because now they had 10 hours to work, they would say, when before they only had 2 or 3, and
Mm.
they always became way less productive because they would scroll and they would get stuck doing time-sucking, time-wasting activities. And so,
Yeah.
I know what I'm gonna do in my business that day, and I still have a checklist that I do every single day.
So, Lacey, I mean, looking back, like some things that you have said is, or that I have heard. So correct me if I'm wrong. Keeping things simple, not overthinking it. You talked about like taking small bites at a time. Sometimes, we do this, we look at the big picture, we look at like that big goal that we have, and it feels so overwhelming and so unattainable that we don't even start because we get in our own way and in our heads of, I can't do that. That feels too hard or too big. So, one step at a time and taking small bites. And I think that applies, that's so relevant with enrolling and having those conversations of getting over that fear just one step at a time. Because sometimes you look at like, "Oh, I don't know all the things," like we've talked about, and like you said, yeah, you don't, and that's okay. You don't have to be perfect. People relate to being imperfect. You feel real, right? We feel relatable and real. If what is just so like as we're kind of rounding up, and what is something, if a consultant came to you and said, Lacy, what are 2 or 3 things that I can do this month? I want to increase my enrollments. I want to bring in a new customer and 2 new consultants this month. How do I do it? What can I do to make that happen in a month?
Okay.
What are a couple things you would tell them?
I would say invite, because we are halfway through the month, and
Mhm.
you guys, I actually before I jump on this call with you, we have a little thread called See You in Whistler, See You in Whistler. And I said, you guys, I'm gonna be very vulnerable with you guys for just a hot second. And I said, you guys, I have been like one of like the number one enrollers since September, and I've always been a very high enroller.
Mhm.
In February, I am sitting at 0, which is so weird to me. And I started panicking for a hot second. And then I realized, I said, but I've been doing all the actions. I've been reaching out every single day. I've been personally inviting 10 people every single day. I have so many conversations. You guys, the life of your business, if you run it on social media, it is in your inbox. It's not in your posts. Like your posts are turning the lights on. Your posts and your stories, those are turning the lights on. But it's the conversations that are happening in your inbox one on one that is going to get you that consultant. So if you're doing this in person, it's the conversations you're having in real life that are
Yeah.
going to get you that. So I said, I'm sitting at 0, but I'm like, I freaked out for a second. Then I said, hold on, Lacy, don't be freaked out. I go, you have literally been putting in the work every single day, and it's the law of the harvest. You guys, I grew up dairy farmer's daughter, 1,800 acres of farmland. My dad I've seen him plant corn and hay and oats and all that kind of stuff every single year for my entire life.
Yeah.
Plant the seeds, water it, fertilize it, water it, fertilize it. Nothing's growing, for a long time. So just you have to you have to open up your mouth. If I can tell you one thing open up your mouth. And
Mm.
if you're very new, those words might be, "Ah," but you're going to get better. So practice on those people. You guys, one thing I did in the very beginning when I didn't know what I was doing very well, I would approach a friend or a neighbor, a coworker, a person I went to church with, family member, and I'd say, would you mind listening to this just to help me get better? I would love any constructive criticism. Do I make sense? And, just would you listen to this? And they'd say, oh, yeah, sure, as a friend, because they listen to it.
Yeah.
And I'd say, if you're not interested, that's totally fine. But if you know someone who is, send them my way. Because I have had so many referrals that way. And then people end up listening to it and being like, well, actually, I'm interested, Lacy. And I'd say, oh, you are? So my advice, we're halfway through the month, is you guys, if you haven't signed anyone up yet, then you have to be reaching out to more people. I say make it a goal that when people, honestly, you guys, now when people say, oh my gosh, Lacy, I am so sorry it's taking me so long to get back to you. I don't even know that they haven't gone back to me because I am talking with so many people. Now I'm very organized, so I have the people I'm talking with, but I never ever invite someone who I don't know. So I've already formed that relationship, because I have connections that I do where I have connections where I'm building that relationship and then I'm able to invite. So I never just cold invite anybody ever.
Yeah.
But I'm having connections and I'm also inviting them. I have my follow-ups. But if you are not meeting your goals, then you just got to up your actions. So if you haven't signed up one person and it's because you're not inviting anybody, then invite 3 people, invite 10 people, invite 100 people. I promise you, it just gets easier and easier all the time. I can invite 10 people in a day within like 10 minutes, So just start taking action. Don't sit back and be like, okay, it's already halfway through the month. I'm in March. No, you guys, I treat every single day like the first day of the month.
Yeah.
Because it's just another day. It doesn't matter if it's like the beginning of the month, the end of the month.
It's all the same.
It's all the same. So
Yeah.
so just have more conversations, reach out more, invite more. It comes down to inviting, having conversations.
I love what you said. Open your mouth.
Open your
People
mouth.
don't know what you don't tell them. We don't know what we don't know.
Yes, and you guys never assume that this wouldn't work for someone. Never assume. Like my husband, because he does this business with me, and he was going through a list of people who he wanted to approach, and he's like, no, they don't need it. And I'm well, what? I remember Tara Wilson saying, I made multiple 6 figures. She has a degree from some prestigious school, and she would have never needed this. But the person who asked her, I'm sure they're very
glad they did. Yeah.
yes. And so I tell them, I'm like, babe, remove your judgment
Yeah.
of any of them, and people say this to me too. Well, Lacey, I don't want to reach out to someone because I don't want them to think that I think that they're fat. And I'm like, what? I go, why would you ever think that they're thinking that? And well, I'm like, your job is to invite.
Yeah.
And that is it.
Yeah. You're not placing any judgment. You are sharing something that you love and that has benefited you in some way.
True.
I love that. Somebody said one time to me that just kind of stuck is they said, don't ever, never make a decision for someone else. Let them make the decision.
Yes, that's what I was trying to say, but in a very roundabout way. It's true. So you guys, literally, you never know what someone's dealing with health-wise. If you would have looked at me last year, you would have thought, oh, Lacey's the healthiest person ever. I looked like I was the epitome of health, but I couldn't sleep at night, struggling with my hormones, living on caffeine, so much brain fog. I would forget my head if it wasn't attached. All these things, but I looked healthy.
Right.
So I am.
We don't know. We just don't know.
We just don't know.
Lacy, thank you so much for joining. This has been so much fun. I always love chatting with you and hearing you have so much energy and it is just contagious. Like you said at events, I always feel it from you whenever I talk to you or see you. So I am truly grateful that you were able to join and share all of your knowledge about this. You guys, like Lacy said, enrolling is something that she has worked really, really hard at and been really successful. And so I hope that everyone, as you were listening to this, you were able to pull some nuggets and some tidbits from someone that has really spent a lot of time mastering this and learned a lot doing it in the process. So Lacy, thank you. I so appreciate you joining.
Thank you. Seriously, this was so awesome, you guys. And let's seriously, LifeVantage, that's kept secret, but we do not want it to be a secret any longer. So literally share with the world because it's our duty. It's our calling. It really is. Everyone, if you have a pulse, if you are breathing, you need to know about LifeVantage. That's how I feel.
I agree. I love it. Thank you, Lacy. And thanks for listening today. We will be back with you next week on Activation Nation. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye, everybody. Have a good day.
Thanks for listening to today's episode of the Activation Nation podcast. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe for future episodes and updates, and share with a friend or prospect that you think could benefit from today's conversation. Check the episode description for any links or disclaimers, and we'll see you next week for another episode. And now, the legal stuff. The sales earnings disclosed are potential gross earnings and do not account for expenses incurred in building a business. The average 12-month earnings of a typical U.S. consultant who earned in 2024 are $683. LifeVantage does not guarantee any income or rank success. A consultant's earnings will depend on individual diligence, work effort, and market conditions. Visit the LifeVantage Income Disclosure Statement for more information.